What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast, the official podcast of the Geeks and Company. That's right. My name is JS. And yeah, you're not seeing things for the second week in a row. Akka is missing. Although we're not quite sure where Akka is tonight. He was under the weather last week. I do believe he was feeling better. But, Akka, if you're listening, we're missing you, buddy. Come and join us.
Gonna put you on a milk carton here soon.
You heard it, guys. El Chico Malo, a.k.a. El Rabo, a.k.a. Mr. Bad Guy, Rob D. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. Back again.
Are you in full Halloween mode right now?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I swapped out my decor for some scarier decor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Guys, tonight we are going to be talking about some video game stuff. Specifically, we're going to be talking about horror games and how they've actually transcended into modern media, TV, and movies. So we figured, what better day, guys, to be talking about the next show we're going to be at, Toronto GameExpo, than the day we're actually talking about video games. Let's be honest, guys, we're not video game experts. We don't really play a whole lot of video games. We used to play a lot of video games when we were kids. Now, not so much. So, hey, 1 + 1 makes 2 to me. So we decided, let's do a show. Let's talk about Toronto GameExpo. So we decided to bring on Queen Harleen. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to tell everyone all about the show this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a really good show, guys. If you didn't know, the Geeks of Kill are hosting Toronto GameExpo, so you know it's gonna be a party. Also, who's gonna be at Toronto GameExpo? Who also might have a little bit of a unique perspective, at least on one of these big franchises we're gonna be talking about tonight. Our good friend. I mean, I almost want to say Geeks and Co alumni by this point. I mean, you've been on the podcast before. You've been featured at our booth a couple times now. Our good buddy. Baccari Cosplay. No, not no more. Midlife Cosplay. Richard Baccari. How you doing, bud?
I'm very good. How are you guys? Good to see you guys.
Doing well. Guys, if you are listening here on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you give us a whatever that button is. The like, the follow, the just click the button. It really helps us out. If you're watching us here live on YouTube, click the like button as well. Make sure you click that subscribe button, guys. We're trying to push. We're putting out a bunch of content right now, which is actually showing. Our view times are up. Our subscriptions are up. Our click count is up. Everything is up on the YouTube channel. Mostly because of, let's be honest, editor Megan has been doing a great job putting out a bunch of shows every week. And Jeff and her are actually doing an after show. They just finished an after show and they've already jumped into another one. Like 2 days later, they were filming a new after show. Awesome. So they are just freaking rocking it. So guys, go check out some of the other stuff that we've been doing. Hopefully you enjoy some of it. If you don't, let them know. If you do, give us a like. We really like the likes. Halloween's coming. We had our little spooky season intro at the beginning. So of course we're going to be talking spooky season stuff. Let's talk about some horror video games. I was thinking earlier, how do we even get this started? How do we get started about talking about horror video games? And then I'm like, well, you're an idiot because there really only is one horror video game franchise that really launched it all. Am I out to lunch there?
I would say there definitely was one that launched it all for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm hoping we're talking about the same one here. I'm talking, of course, about Resident Evil.
Absolutely.
How many actual Resident Evil movies are there now? I feel like it's turned into the Fast and the Furious franchise of horror.
Yeah, wasn't there like 7? Or
I think there might be more than that.
I don't know how many movies there were, but some stats. The first one came out in 96, just 28 years ago. There's 10 core games, and there's including spin-offs and remakes, there's about 30 games for the Resident Evil series.
You just made me feel really old there, Rob.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but it's happening. Right? We're getting up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fold. The Resident Evil film series has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're right. 7 movies.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
7 movies. Yeah, that's that, and it looks like there's going to be more because this last one was like a reboot of the series.
Oh, awesome.
So it's a new beginning in the franchise. So they're literally just going to keep making them. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I remember when I played the original. Have you guys all played the original?
No.
Resident Evil? No.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Now I'm feeling old, Richard. Now I'm feeling old.
Well, as you said earlier, we're not all into the gaming thing. I like the idea of it, but I just have not invested money in a console as yet. So,
well, no, and that's fair. And I want to say the original was on like the original PlayStation, was it not?
I think it was on PS1. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think it was on
sure.
the original PlayStation. And I remember playing it for the first time at my cousin's. And I show up and they're sitting there in the dark playing this video game. And they're like, oh, come on in, have a seat. And I have no idea what's going on. And I start watching this. And I mean, I am instantly horrified. Instantly horrified how creepy and scary that game was because they kind of perfected the whole zombies coming out of nowhere jump scare style. Yeah. But Richard, you actually, I don't know if you guys knew this. Our buddy here, I'm pointing here, but you're down. It's hard to point down there. You're down in that corner. You used to work in the movie industry.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I was I was a lighting technician, an actor, and I did some stunt work as well.
Now you actually worked on the original. I believe it's the original first Resident Evil movie.
I think so. Yeah, they shot it in Toronto, and I particularly remember the scene at the city hall where they basically blew up half a city hall. I went in and cleaned up all the aftermath of that, but I did a bunch of stuff where we were on set shooting the actual scenes and everything too, and that was. I know he wouldn't remember, but that was where I first met Matt.
Oh, for real? Well, so
Really?
that would
Yeah.
have been the second
Yeah.
movie then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
If that's
yeah,
where you
you're
met
right,
Matt
yeah.
Taylor, that would have been the second movie.
Yeah.
Actually, we're gonna bring up Matt in a minute here.
So that
you
must have
know.
been the one that they shot in Toronto then.
Yeah. Okay. I think they shot the first one here as well because I think the first one is in the mansion, and I believe the mansion is actually Casa Loma. I could
Oh,
be
yeah, yeah.
wrong,
Oh,
but
really?
I believe it is. I have to go back and confirm that.
Yeah.
So don't quote me if I'm out to lunch here.
Yeah. Casa Loma was also the X-Men mansion.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
Wait
So,
a
yeah.
minute. I don't know about that. It was not.
It
Was it not Parkwood in Oshawa? That's
they did use that as well for some of the
okay. So
outside
they used
stuff.
both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I worked on that movie as well. That was where I first met Hugh Jackman. I was his stand-in for about a week or so on that movie, and yeah, we did some stuff at Casa Loma and some outside stuff and some highways and whatnot. And yeah,
Very cool.
It was a fun movie. Yeah.
Our buddy Peter Jarvis is in the chat, and I believe he was on X-Men 1 with you as well, wasn't he?
Peter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to spend the whole the whole evening talking about X-Men 1, but I want to talk about Resident Evil. So you were on Resident Evil 2. So you met Matt there.
Yeah.
Matt, okay, so let's go back for a quick second. So for those of you that don't know, Matthew G. Taylor, who's now a full-time police officer, as far as I know, is also still very much an actor, and is the monster actor. He's the guy in the Nemesis suit in Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
So he's the actual dude in the big. Rob, did you bring that up by any chance? You did.
Good
there you
to
go. Now I do believe that this is not actually Matt. This, I believe, is from the video game.
I believe this is just from the video game. Yeah.
But Matt plays this character. And his mask looks basically identical to that.
Yeah.
he has a stunt version of his mask that he was able to keep. It's like a foam version of the mask, and he brings it to cons when he does the con circuit, and people get to pose with it, and it's dope because it's exactly that. It's just unpainted. It wasn't the stunt mask; it was the practice mask. For weeks before filming, he had to get used to wearing the mask and walking in it because you can't really see anything, I guess, in that.
Yeah.
Did you get to see him in the suit?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was massive, like big, huge platform boots, and then with this mask on, adding even more height. And I don't know if they had a suit on underneath all of that to make him look even bigger, because he was already a huge guy. But yeah, he was like 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, he was like over 7 feet tall with all the gear on. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of cosplayers cosplay this, but I can only imagine him in that suit, like how freaking ginormous he must be and how imposing he must be.
Yeah.
You seen all the movies?
Not all of them. No.
Do you have a favorite one in the movies that you've seen?
I'm pretty partial to that one, because having been worked on it, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I got to watch this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen a number of the other ones too. But I don't know, they kind of did end up being a little similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about them, 10 years after the fact, it's kind of hard to remember which one was which.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like I said, it's going to become the Fast and the Furious of the horror game franchise, and they do at one point start all blending into each other a little bit. I mean,
30 games, 7 movies. It's kind of hard to keep things fresh in the zombie franchise, right?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. But I mean, it's got to be popular, right? Because it's still kicking hard, right? Like it's still going. This last movie came out in 2021. I believe there's another one in production.
Wow.
And when was the last game that came out? You still have that up, Rob, by any chance? Let's see here.
I believe I don't know the answer to that question. Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil Village? Resident Evil Village is probably one of the most recent big games, which I got an image loaded up here of one of the characters from that game, Carl Heisenberg, which is the last major prop I made.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Which is the hammer from Mr. Heisenberg there.
Holy crap!
Amazing.
Yeah, this is a nice solid wood axe handle. It's all 3D printed.
It looks so heavy.
It does.
You know what? It's kind of heavy, and I took this to Toronto Comic Con and actually broke it on the way, so I had to rebuild it. Part of the reason why it broke was the infill was too low. So when I reprinted it, I printed it much more solid. So that thing actually.
It's got some weight to it now.
It's got some weight to it now. So yeah, it would hurt if you used it as a weapon. But
yeah, you that was like Toronto Comic Con, right?
Yeah, it was Toronto Comic Con this year. I smashed it all. I had to rebuild the whole thing. So that's the rebuild version. But
well, it looks pretty freaking dope. I don't.
Yeah, good work, man.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the games in ages, so I don't know who that character is, but. You still have him on screen? Let's bring him back up. Oh no, you unshared.
No, I stopped sharing them. But
that's pretty cool.
I don't think.
Sorry. Are these games like first-person shooters, or is it a combination of story stuff where you have to unlock certain realms? And
yeah, well, it's more of like it's more
third-person shooter.
Third-person shooter / open world.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Type of game.
Yeah.
Like to give you an example, well, if you've never played any of the games, I mean, the original game was based on you're in this mansion, and you're in the mansion from like the first movie, right, where it all went wrong, right? There's a lab in the basement, and it all goes wrong, and so you're in that mansion, and you're locked in there, So it's open world, but within the house. So you have to make your way through it and find your way through it too, because it's also it's a horror game, but there's the whole
There's a lot of
not labyrinth, but like you have to figure out the clues and you
there's a
have
lot
to
of puzzles to it. Yeah.
puzzles and
Yeah,
unlocking
yeah.
that door and getting to the other area and oh shit, now this hallway's broken. A beam fell down and it crashed, and how do we get across? And now you got to find another way across, and like yeah, all while being
Okay.
attacked by zombies and zombie dogs and zombie birds and you freaking
Yeah.
name it, right? And all of a sudden, Nemesis, well, no, Nemesis doesn't show up in the first one, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it just keeps evolving in threat, right? To the point where you get this 7-foot monster with a friggin' minigun for an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Nemesis was to me. I'll say it. I want to find out what you two as well, Rob and Harleen, what your favorites are. My is by far the second one. After that, they start getting ridiculous, just like the Fast and the Furious movies. At one point, they get ridiculous. Same thing with I found with the Resident Evil. I have not seen the 2021 Resident Evil.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen all of them.
Yeah, I'll admit I haven't seen that one, but number 2 is by far my favorite. It's got some funny bits. It's got actual wicked action in it. And let's be honest, I'm a little bit biased. Our buddy Matt Taylor is the bad guy. I mean, you know. So Matt was Nemesis. Matt was on the podcast a couple times. We met him for the first time in London. If you're watching this, you probably already know who Matt Taylor is. Because we get a bunch of people in the chat, by the way. So actually, you know what? Before we get to the chat, Harleen, what's your favorite Resident Evil? Do you have a favorite in all of the movies?
I am not sure about my favorite one of that. My favorite scary franchise is a totally different one.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we will get to that as we go on. But
I know which one you're saying. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
I think
Probably
this
our
is
next one on our list.
perfect timing. Why don't you tell us what that is?
Yeah.
Well, it's not only my favorite game, it's also my favorite series and my favorite soundtrack. So can we guess? It is The Last of Us, and especially The Last of Us 2 for the scariest game of the year. It's my favorite horror game. I think it's just like the show. It's emotional. It's captivating. Like they show themes of, vengeance, tribalism, this like gray area between like morality. And so I think it's got a lot of deep, interesting layers to it. I think it's scary, but in a way that you want to sort of like see more. Like they blur between the good guys and the bad guys. Have you guys played it?
So I've never played the games. I have watched the show. The show was amazing. You're right that it was a horror game. Oh, like it's not a zombie show, and it's not a horror show, and it's not a thriller, and it's not but it's almost like a little bit of everything. Like I really enjoyed the show. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was amazing. And let's be honest, they've got one of the coolest new things around in their version of the zombies is the clickers.
Yeah.
I mean, how freaking messed up. I was going to say something else. How freaking messed up are those things, man? When again, I haven't experienced it in the game. And Megan, you may probably relate to me when you experience it for the first time in the game as well. But when you first see the clicker the first time in the show, and you hear it, and then you see it, and it is like, yeah, nope, no, thank you. That's enough for me. I will say that they have a way of making you freaking people out, not making, but they have a way of freaking people out. Did you get that same type of playing the game, that same type of reaction to the clickers for the first time?
Absolutely. Like you're really there with the characters. I feel like you're so involved with the characters. You feel their emotions. You feel what they're feeling. You also need to turn the light on and get back. And as much as you want to keep on playing the game or even watching the show, I feel like you want to see more of it, but it is also terrifying. But in a way that sometimes it's almost difficult to digest because, like I said earlier, they really blur the lines between like the good guys and the bad guys in a way that you just want to see more. And something that's sort of not horror, but something that this game does and show that's a little bit interesting is you see a lot of diverse body types. Like you see a lot of ranges of ethnicities. You see like an exploration of gender and sexuality. It doesn't feel forced or disingenuous. It really feels like this game connects with people on so many different levels. And so I think it not only makes it the scariest game of the year, but it's also just really a unique game. Like it's just a beautifully told horror story.
Awesome.
Rob,
I
you
hear
played...
Sorry, I was just gonna say I hear that the games are, or the TV show is very accurate to the games.
It is. And so I'm excited for when part 2 comes out this year. I've been, waiting and waiting, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. It may be very much like the game, or they may take the characters a little bit differently, but I'm excited to see more.
So I was reading an interview with the showrunner. Whatever, it's not important. I was reading an interview, and from what they're saying, season 1 is to represent game 1. Season 2 is not representing game 2. So season 2 is like the story in between game 2 and game 1 and game 2, because game 2 happens a while later, does it not?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a time gap there between 1 and 2. So season 2 of the show is going to happen in that time frame. So we're getting a whole new story before, spoilers, people, Joel dies. Right?
Wow, that was real fast.
No spoilers here.
I mean, he's not in the game, right? Like he's
okay, so
anyway.
seeing how that's out in the open, you're saying that they're not gonna do season 2.
It's not what they're doing.
So they're not gonna kill him off in the second season.
No.
Okay.
No. This is a story in between. We're actually gonna, and that was a lot of the problem a lot of people were having with this as well. Fuck, so you brought on this guy to play Joel, and then you're just gonna kill him off? Like, are you serious? No, that's not what they're doing. They're not killing him off. Season 2 is the in-between story. Season 3 may also still be in between. We don't know that season 3 will be game 2. So if you're a big fan of the second game, like you are, Harleen, I don't think that's what you're gonna see in the show. I could be completely out to lunch, but I don't think that's what you're gonna see this year in the show.
Well, the characters are so like rich and layered in both the game and on screen that I'm excited to see either.
Yeah, I didn't know her before this, but the chemistry that the two of them have together is wicked. Like, it's undeniable. They're so good. They're so good. And again, I'm also not that, like, I'm not a huge Pedro Pascal fan. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know who he was before Mandalorian. Like, no joke. I didn't know who he was. I know he's been in some stuff since, but I'm not. But this was good. Rob, you've got 2 screens shared here. Which one should I be bringing up?
What do you have? Bring up Ellie. There you go.
Yeah, the other one I think has the exact same thing. So there you go. This is from the first game. Oh, you just closed the wrong one. There you go. Does anybody know? Is this from the first game? Is this from the second game?
Yes, I believe that was for the first game.
That's from the first game.
And then I also have. So we talk about the clickers.
Yeah. So guys, we did clickers at, if you didn't know, at London Comic Con. Me and Rob. Well, let's be honest. Christina did a clicker. Me and Rob, had Halloween costumes on.
We did these.
Let me hang on. Let me bring that up.
I didn't know that was you guys.
There you go. Bring that up. Yeah, that was me and Rob.
Yeah, that was us.
That looked awesome.
I did not know that was you guys. That's hilarious.
So yeah, so we're gonna do them again. We're gonna do them again. We got a photo shoot actually coming up on the 20th.
It's the 20th, I believe. Sunday the 20th. We're going to be doing a photo shoot.
Yeah, so not this weekend,
Cool.
next weekend. We're doing a photo shoot, a Last of Us photo shoot.
Awesome.
And Christina's also going to be there with her clicker, which is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, she looked like she walked right off the set.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So I don't have a photo of Christina, but I do have a photo of.
I mean, that's the clicker she does,
That's the clicker she does.
Holy Jesus.
and
Oh my
it's
God.
it's
So this was
Yeah.
from obviously the season 1 of the show, which was a pretty intense scene.
Yeah.
It's so textured. Like,
Yeah, but I have played these games. I have played the first game. I haven't played the second game, but I watched my wife play end to end all the games, and yeah, these are amazing games. You're right. The story is so layered. The characters are layered. It explores all kinds of different things about the characters. Great series.
and I love this soundtrack. Like, I think they did a great job with the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bring up Christina's clicker here, guys. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe Christina will be joining us for that photo shoot.
Yeah, that's absolutely bonkers. Sorry, you were talking about the soundtrack. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the soundtrack.
The soundtrack
Was it more of a
in-
score, or was it like a soundtrack? Like, was it?
They did do a soundtrack for the TV show, but there was also a soundtrack for the game. And if you look even on Apple Music or something, you can see the difference. So they use some of the same songs, but different artists. So it'll be like, say, a familiar like 80s dance song, but slow and acoustic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that. And that sort of same musical science was applied to Bridgerton, where they'll do like violins, but it's modern music.
Right.
And so I liked it. It's
Michael
it's
is
scary
saying
and relaxing. It's haunting.
Depeche Mode, Never Let Me Down Again. Brilliant. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
they do that song. You know what? I'm gonna have to Google that now or Spotify that, because I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and we've been talking about researching some ideas to do a similar podcast episode on soundtracks from.
Yeah, and I
okay,
didn't realize that was. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that now.
That's a good one.
That
have
one's
to
a
Google
beautiful
that.
soundtrack. There's a difference
Yeah.
between them, but I actually like the video game artists better than the TV one. The TV one is a little more folk, some of them. But yeah, go for a nighttime drive, check them out. Haunting, but interesting.
Oh, good to know.
A nighttime drive, great suggestion. Yeah.
That's what I most listen to. Music. That's when I tried out the new Joker soundtracks.
All right, guys, we're already at the halfway mark here of the show, so I want to make sure we take some time, and we're talking about some video game franchises here, but the next show we're all at, of course, is Toronto GameExpo. I want to take some time to actually talk about it because we brought Megan on. Sorry, we brought Harleen on specifically. Sorry,
No stalkers, please.
No stalkers, please. We brought Harleen on specifically to be able to talk to us a little bit about the show. We're guesting at the show. Richard's guesting at the show. Actually, we're hosting the show this year, so that's going to be pretty cool, guys. We're going to be set up right by the stage. We're going to be hosting not the individual events, but the show itself. We're going to be organizing a Star Wars meetup, guys. So if you want to come to Toronto Game Expo, and maybe you want to dress up because perhaps you're a cosplayer, maybe you should get your Star Wars get up on and join us, because we're gonna have a wicked Star Wars meetup. We're gonna have a bunch of people around. We're trying to coerce some numbered people to join us in the debauchery that will be Toronto Game Expo. Man, we're gonna have a good time. This is gonna be a big party. If you've been to the Geeks Co booth at one of these big shows, you know what to expect. So that's what Toronto Game Expo is going to be like this year. That being said, Harleen, for the people that don't know, people that have never been to Toronto Game Expo, what can they expect in a show like this?
Well, Toronto Game Expo it's like the city's premier event for gaming and pop culture enthusiasts. So it will be a party. We have so much programming. What makes our show different is everything going on stage. We love our programming. We love our music. It's going to be so much fun. It's a biannual extravaganza. We bring together gamers, collectors, and cosplayers, comic fans, and anime lovers for like a day of celebration and also a community. So we have a lot of different things going on. Our event features over 300 tables. So it's going to be a wide array of games, collectibles, artwork. Attendees can participate in crafting workshops. They can test their skills in game competitions or enjoy our free play gaming area, which has over 30 systems. So you show up, sit down, grab one of 30 systems if you're a gamer and have fun with that. We also have a tabletop gaming section because, gaming is gaming. So we're going to have a tabletop section for board game enthusiasts. And this year, a dedicated kids zone with art activities and a scavenger hunt. So if you're bringing some little ones and you want them to burn off some steam, or if you need to just, chill out, enjoy yourself, have some of the great food that's there while your kids play, you can also do that. We're going to have activities, scavenger hunt throughout the day. We announce lots of raffle prizes and a grand prize of a free Nintendo Switch generously donated by GameStop, which is a longtime partner of Toronto Game Expo. So that's exciting, and they've been amazing. For cosplay enthusiasts, Toronto Game Expo and Cosplay for the Cause, formerly Cosplay for the Cure, will host Cosplay Stars. It's a competition that we did at our last show. It was very successful. We're going to do it again, but now we've got these amazing people putting it together for us, Cosplay for the Cause. I'm sure you know who they are, and we're going to do $800 worth of prizes. So Toronto Game Expo, a little bit about the founders, Chris and Darby. They share a passion for bringing people together through gaming. And they wanted to just like relive the nostalgia of gaming and how gaming just unites everyone. And so it's really cool because it's come from the heart, and you can feel it when you come to our show that it really has a lot of heart. And just to bring it back to Chris and Darby for a second, I think they think the scariest games are what we were talking about before, Resident Evil and of course Silent Hill. So guys, I mentioned it.
That's the next one on my list I want to talk about.
For sure. And we have several affordable ticket packages going on. So it includes this year a super VIP. So a little chilly, you want to skip the line, super VIP is the way to go. Or if you don't want to miss that special collectible, whether it's a game console, something rare, you can jump the line with super VIP. So you can check it out online. There's all different packages though for everyone. Our event is fully accessible. It's affordable. It's family friendly. And we often run our promotions on Instagram. So that makes it even easier to be able to join in the fun. You can check for your raffles after on Instagram as well. If you had to split and you want to know if you won, we always put it up on there. So more things new this year. Indie Dev. So you know what that is? That is Indie Game Developer Showcase. It's going to be really cool. We've had tons of requests for it. So a lot of independent, just like we have a huge, massive artist alley this year, we're going to have a huge, massive indie gaming section.
So I think that's going to be local developers, or do you have developers coming from a little bit everywhere?
Pretty much local and around, but independent people wanting to get their stuff out there. So basically like the artists of the gaming world. So that's really cool to be able to look at their work and their innovative ideas and just sort of give them a platform to be able to showcase their stuff. So that's going to be great. Again, huge artist alley. So no narrow aisles on us for artist alley. We're going to open it up and have a really great place for people to be able to show their art off. We've got some gaming YouTube guests and content creators, so that'll be cool. A lot of people follow different gamers on YouTube, and that would be interesting to be able to meet them and talk to them. We've got some voice actors coming, such as Frederick B. Owens from One Piece and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collector and more. Frederick B. Owens is also one of the voices for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that's great. It kind of fits in with a bit of our retro theme too, because we've got a lot of retro turtle collectors and gamers that come out. So there'll be lots of collectibles there. So we've got an all-day building workshop hosted by Mischief Makers. They were with us last time. They're awesome. So I just wanted to talk 2 seconds about Mischief Makers. If you don't know who they are, you could even flash them up from your, if you wanted to share screen, because they do a great job teaching people how to build with EVA foam. So they helped me build my first armor. You go in and it's a workshop. They teach you. So you're not just learning online or from friends. They teach you your patterning, how to shape, sand, cut things out, and also painting and weathering. They've got tons and tons of workshops. They're going to be there all day offering free workshops for people. So you have to follow our Instagram page at Toronto Game Expo and be able to see more about what they're going to be offering. But that's a really cool place to go if you ever wanted to learn how to build but didn't know where to start. And we also have a ton of fabulous cosplay guests. We've got cosplay meetups, which you mentioned earlier, your Star Wars one. We also have a DC Comics meetup. You got to check out our website on our schedule to see what times those are at. And as always, amazing shopping and collectibles, tasty food. But check out our website for a list of partners and sponsors. There's some new ones this year, and we're so thankful for them, as well as, of course, GameStop. So the important stuff, where and when. So our location has been great. We've kept the same location at Exhibition Place at the Queen Elizabeth Building. And so that is Saturday, November 16th. 11 until 6 p.m. So you've got lots of time at the show, but do keep an eye on the schedule so that you don't miss any of the things that you really want to come to, such as Cosplay Stars or the meetup. So I think that's kind of all I have to say about the show.
Guys, make sure that you understand this is a one-day show. So there is no, if you don't go on that day, you're not going the next day. So make sure you put it on your calendar so you don't miss this show. Right, no, it's Saturday, November 16th from 11 to 6 p.m. Queen Elizabeth Building at Exhibition Place.
It's like a 2-day con all packed into one amazing day.
It is. There's gonna be a lot of stuff happening in one day. So make sure you plan out ahead of time what you want to be doing, right? Like if you're going there to meet some of the game developers, or if you're going there to meet some of the guests, or whatever the case is. Make sure you know where you're going and what you want to do, because it's gonna be packed. I have a feeling, and it's gonna go by quick. So
it is.
Make sure you have your visit plan. Our
programming goes by so quickly because there's always something going on for everyone on stage. Like if you like idol groups, we have a ton of them coming, which is going to be awesome as well. And the return of our Ramen Rumble Showdown. So that is a ramen eating competition. That's going to be awesome. We're really utilizing our cosplayer guests to be able to host.
I feel like it could be useful in a situation like this.
Yeah. Can I enter this?
For sure. So there's so much fun, and it is a big party. And I know that everyone who comes is going to love it. And we have so many returning guests this year. For not really returning guests, but like returning vendors who have just loved the show. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. You've got a bunch of guests, cosplay guests coming this year.
Yeah. Can you pull them up?
Which is amazing that you guys have actually this many. And this is what I love. You know what? Let me hide this back a little bit here. I will say this, you go to some of these big giant shows and they feature like 5 or 6 people. And then you go to these small local shows and they're featuring like 10, 12, 15 cosplayers. Guys, support your local shows.
Yeah.
Because they're the guys supporting us. Right. So if you want to support someone, go support these smaller local events. Because, man, they love having the cosplayers around. And we need to show them back that love. Because
this is where you really get the sense of community when you go to these types of shows, smaller shows, right? It kind of gets lost when you go to the big ones, but these smaller ones really show the appreciation, and we love them.
100%.
Absolutely, because I do the content creation and the cosplay guests for Toronto Game Expo and for their sister show, which is the show that they began with, which is Very Game Expo, and when I'm looking through different guests, I like to make sure that it's almost all different people every time with a few returning guests, but that it showcases inclusion, not just building skills. Obviously, cosplay is something that's for everyone, and inclusion is the main thing. Whether you purchased your cosplay or whether you have been building it for 5 years, you're still a cosplayer, and there's all different levels of it. Whatever you're cosplaying, it doesn't have to be trendy, it doesn't have to be of the moment, it can be something that's special to you, and that's what makes cosplay inclusive, and that's what makes it beautiful. And so every time I choose cosplayers, I don't want people to think, oh, well, I was a better builder than that. Well, maybe they were, but it wasn't all about that. It's to showcase inclusion. And that way, any cosplayer that comes to the event, whether it's for the contest or just to hang out, they walk in and they can identify with somebody who's there, whether they're tabling or walking around, and say, hey, that's like me. I'm also Spider-Man, or I'm also a foam builder and this took me 5 years. I just want there to be a feeling of comfort there where nobody feels like mine isn't good enough or mine doesn't fit in.
Yeah, I think that's the spirit of a lot of what we try to do as well. The inclusivity.
Sure.
Cosplays for everybody. There's no follower count required to be part of it. No, absolutely. So
It's all about
great.
having fun. If you're having fun, you're doing something right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter if your cosplay was $5 or $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And sometimes, a lot of people say that, but then when we get somewhere, it doesn't always feel that way in the environment. And I want to make sure that any event I'm involved with does feel like that, and truly does feel like that. I want people to be able to come in and say, hey, I made this hat, and feel great about themselves. So it's just sort of an event that really is for community, bringing it back to why people found cosplay. Most of us found it for hobby, for happiness, for escapism, all different reasons, and just being able to bring it back to that, not whose is better.
Yeah, I think we've had a couple episodes, to be honest, on this specific topic, right? And we could probably go on and on and on about this, but you're right. I think it's sometimes easy to fall into that trap of, oh, my stuff is better than yours, and blah, blah, blah. And why is this person getting chosen when I'm not, when my stuff is so much better than theirs? And it's, you know what? At the end of the day, we're supposed to be doing this for fun, right? Like we're not supposed to be doing this to judge others. That's why I don't even like doing cosplay contests. I've done one in my life and I hated it.
Same here. Yeah, we only ever did the one, and
I don't
didn't
like
enjoy
doing
it.
contests. That's not why I do it. I don't do it because I want people to judge me. I do it because I want to freaking hang out with people that are like me, right? Like I want to hang out with a group of people that like to dress up and that are cool and that are, nerds like we are, and so on and so forth, right? The cosplay for me is just my outlet because I've always been a creative type. I feel like most of the people that are into cosplay are all creative types, right? So, that's our outlet, right? Like everybody has their own outlet. For us, our art is the cosplay. So it doesn't matter, like Richard is saying, if it's a $5 cosplay or a $5,000 cosplay. If you're cosplaying and you're having fun, then you're cosplaying.
Yeah. It's like bringing back it's like bringing back that same sense of joy and exhilaration that you had when you were a kid, when you got together and like, hey, let's play Cowboys and Indians or whatever, and you committed fully to it. You believed in it while you were doing it, and you lived and breathed it while it was happening. And now we get to do that as adults and relive that little same spark that we had back when we were kids.
Well said.
Yeah, very well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember
I like that about it.
I remember making swords and armors and shields out of like cereal boxes and
Sticks,
paint sticks and oh yeah. All right, the cosplay guests for Toronto Game Expo. There's a bunch of them, so you might as well go through them. Black Cat Sigma. I don't know Black Cat Sigma very well, but she has been all the cons. She was also featured at VonCon. She was just 2 tables down from us last time. Do you know Black Cat at all, Harleen?
Oh yeah, she's a friend of mine, and she has a fundraiser con coming up, which I'll be at, called Compass Con, or not called Compass Con, called
HeartCon.
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 Yes, and it's a fundraiser for congenital heart defects, and so it's a cause special to her heart, and it features a superhero fashion show. So that's going to be fun. That's on November 2nd.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Angelic Luca.
Angelic Luca cosplay. I don't know this cosplayer at all.
She is friends with Candy Cosplay, and they're going to be tabling together.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
We're going to talk about Candy in a couple minutes. Well, look at that.
Who's that
Who's
guy?
that guy?
Who's this handsome gentleman over here? That's right. Midlife Cosplay, Mr. Richard Baccari. Richard, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to be next to each other as far as our tables go.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're also going to be doing Star Wars.
Yes.
And are you willing to spill the beans on who you're doing?
I was trying to decide if I was going to do that Tusken Raider Boba Fett or the Darth Maul. I'm kind of thinking I might bite the bullet and do Darth Maul again.
Yes.
I love your Maul, buddy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's the best. I mean,
Thanks,
I listen. I'm gonna hide this on the screen for a couple seconds here. I remember the first time I saw your Maul, and I was like, hold up, what is going on here? Yeah, your Maul's amazing. Your makeup job is wicked, and yeah, I mean it. Yeah, listen, there's probably other good Darth Mauls out there, but of the ones that I know and the ones that I've seen, dude, your Maul is by far my favorite. I'm
thank you.
Stoked that you're going to be wearing Maul because we're going to have some other dark side representation there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The next cosplayer on the list here, let me just bring the list back up, is Digirin.
Yes, Digirin does a great job with a lot of anime. And anime is so popular for the past, few years and more. It'll be great to have an anime person there to really connect with anime fans.
Very cool. Right below our buddy, Mr. Reed's Props Plus.
He's great. He's very charismatic, and he does a great job building. A lot of cosplayers also purchase his props. And so that's pretty cool to be able to support your friends.
Yeah, Reed's become huge in the industry. Well, in our local cosplay game right now. Oh, we've just lost Richard, it looks like. Hopefully Richard's able to log back on. Richard's become huge. Not Richard. Reed's become huge in the local. Well, they're awesome both huge. Reed's been doing it. You're right. He's been doing a lot of props for other people. He takes on a lot of commissions. And I mean, let's be honest, as far as his cosplays, everything he puts out is absolutely freaking dope. So if you don't know Reed, go check him out. By the way, guys, every one of these cosplayers that we're looking at here on the Toronto Game Expo website, you can actually click on them and then go right to their Instagrams. Although we have to move along because holy cow, the time is moving on us. Bunny Bayokos, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, I'm Beokus, maybe. I'm not actually sure. I just know Bunnies are really great at infographics for cosplay community safety. They have a big interest in, being able to make a safe space for people to talk to you about, if you're creeped out by a photographer or if you don't know if you should show up at a shoot alone. Bunny's been really great at infographics, like if this happens, do this. And so that's kind of a cool thing to have a little bit of an eye on the community. And I think it's just, it's just an interesting take on it.
Excellent. Jack Porkins is in the chat here saying a nice guy too. I'm assuming he's talking about Reed. Reed is a cool guy. Andre is saying Reed is dope as hell. He sure is. Moonspell. I'm assuming mainly a Sailor Moon cosplayer.
No, Moonspell does also some different anime. Moonspell does an amazing Ladybug as well. She does a lot of different looks, and she's going to be one of the hosts with Reed and her partner Corky Cosplays for our trivia. So you have to catch that on stage.
Excellent. And we got Candy Cosplay, guys. Candy Cosplay I guess it's mainly a horror cosplayer. Am I correct?
Candy does a lot of awesome horror, but Candy also does other stuff, like also a great avatar, and yeah, a lot of different looks. Candy's very versatile, like all cosplayers, but lots of horror.
Yeah, Candy was one of the horror cosplayers we reached out to last week to do a quick feature video. Oh, there's Richard, who's logged back on. There we go. You all
Back
good,
in
Richard?
business.
Yeah.
So Candy was one of the cosplayers we had reached out to. Unfortunately, she couldn't get us a video on time for last week. She did get us a video along with a bunch of other people, actually. So I have a bunch more of these little feature videos. So if we got some time at the end, although this week maybe we won't, but I'm going to try over the next couple of weeks to throw some up. You know, we got one from her. We got one from her buddy, Andrew Saxon, who does a lot of horror cosplays. We got one from last week that we couldn't figure out how to get going that I ended up figuring out. But so in any case, keep your eyes out. We're going to be showing more of those over the next couple of weeks. Cosplayer Crystal is going to be featured at the show. If you don't know Crystal, I don't think you're a cosplayer because she's all the shows. She is one of the major cosplayers, I think, in our core, I guess, cosplayer group in Toronto.
This was my favorite Wonder Woman. We did a bombshell shoot together. I remember at Fan Expo. She's awesome.
And is it Cal of the Void?
Cal is going to be sharing a table with Black Cat. So we're going to have a nice like Marvel area for people who want to take kids over to as well.
Excellent. King Nugget Cosplay. Oh, I know King Nugget Cosplay, actually. He mostly does what are these guys? Holy cow.
Power Rangers.
He mostly does Power Rangers, does he not?
He also does Batman. He's also an excellent prop maker, but you may recognize him as the funny guy on Con Crunch TV.
Ah, yes. And that's right. I saw he had his Batman at, let me think here. What was the one where the photo op area was downstairs? Was that Toronto?
We did it at we were downstairs at Fan Expo. No, it was Comic-Con. It was Comic-Con. We did a big DC shoot and you hosted it.
Yeah, so that was Comic-Con and he had his Batman there. Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be a DC meetup, obviously, guys, as well. They're featured on here on the website, but the cosplay medic.
A few people on there are Lady for DC is Lady Arkham Cosplay. We've got Tyler, Toronto Joker. We've got Phoenix Funhouse. There's going to be a lot of different fun DC people over at that meetup. And yes, of course, the cosplay medic. I cut you off.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's say we saw most of the DC crew there in London a few weeks ago.
We did. A lot of them were there. But yeah, the cosplay medic, our buddy Wayne, is going to be at the show. Guys, cosplay medic, he does this for us. He comes to all these shows. He brings all these supplies with him just in case we have something that goes wrong or we need help with anything. You see the cosplay medic, guys, give him a shout out, go say hi, give him a tip. I don't know what you do, but help support what he does because he's out there every single show for us. Literally, just in case that we need a helping hand, in case we need something repaired. So, we were lucky enough to be able to hook him up with a pass at Toronto Comic-Con. Hopefully we can do more with Wayne because I think what he does is amazing. He does this just for fun. Like
and you
us.
can support Wayne as well at our show by purchasing one of his new patches or stickers. I think a cosplay medic badge is something that belongs in everyone's backpack.
There you go.
Good call.
Excellent. Content creator guess. I'll look at these guys. The Geeks & Co. That's right.
We're so thankful that you guys are able to come and host really pretty much the day and keep the party going.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're going to make sure the place is bumping. We're going to have music blaring. We're going to have a dance party. We're going to have some karaoke. You guys are going to have a meetup. When you're coming to a show where the Geeks & Co. have a booth, it's going to be a party. So make sure you come and hang out. It's going to be a good time. You're obviously going to be there yourself.
I sure
Now,
am.
are you going to be doing anything? Like, are you going to have a table there? Are
I
you doing media? Like,
okay,
what are you doing
so
there?
Running around with your
I
hands off.
yeah, last year I had on like 20 hats and they all fell off. So this year I'm not going to be doing a table for vendor Queen Harleen because I was never at it and always
Mhm.
wondering who was stealing what. So I'm not going to be doing that, and I'm not going to be hosting the cosplay contest because now we have an amazing host team of cosplay for the cause, and so that is going to be awesome. But I'm going to be around as the content creator as usual for Toronto Game Expo, and just making sure that everyone's doing all right. You know, checking on my cosplay guests, checking on the other guests, and making sure that everyone is feeling good and safe and comfortable, and helping a bit with the programming throughout the day.
So you're still going to be wearing like 4 hats. It sounds like.
I'm going to be wearing 4 hats and red and black, but I'm not going to wear 20 hats.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm going to have backup shoes.
There you go. Hey, Jeremy Klinger.
Yeah, so we've got
Apparently,
some
he's a
awesome
bigger
YouTube.
Nintendo fan than you.
Yeah, he's known. I think a lot of people, both young and old, are going to come out to see what he has to say and be able to meet him in person or get something signed. You know, YouTubers are the movie stars of today, and I think that that's going to be awesome.
The Obsessive Gamer, I'm assuming another YouTuber. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are going to have so much fun because it's YouTube stars are not what they were 10 years ago. You know, now they are celebrity guests, and it's going to be so much fun.
Excellent. Frederick B. Owens, guys, we didn't really meet him at London Comic Con because his table was always packed with people, so we never got a really chance to get in front of him and say hi and film an interview with him. But Frederick B. Owens, I guess he's mostly known as a voice actor for TMNT.
Well, he's the voice actor for One Piece now. And so
Okay.
that's amazing. And you're right, he has a huge lineup. It's hard to be able to talk to him because he's so busy signing toys and collectibles and taking photos with people. So he's going to have his different packages listed. But I would say, you come early, get in line, and get to meet him because, yes, he's a voice from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series. But for now, for One Piece, One Piece is a super hot show. And I think that everyone's going to have a lot of fun and a lot of different types of collectibles to bring to him. So that'll be really cool. And where isn't he now? He's been at every show lately. And so that's
and
cool.
I feel like him and the TMNT collector have been basically traveling together. It feels like they're sharing a spot. Are they sharing a spot again at this show?
They will be. They work hand in hand together and go to a lot of shows with not only in Canada but a lot of shows in the States as well because he's the voice of such a prominent show and he's like the world's best collector, and so he brings some of his movie pieces there to feature as well, so people who are big turtle fans can go and get a signing from Frederick, and then they can even get a picture with some of the collectibles that the turtle collector brings with him. So that's cool.
That's wicked. So there's gonna be a lot of guests there, guys. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff to do. Like I said, it's gonna be a short day. Make sure you get there early and make sure you don't miss out because, first thing you'll know, that show will be gone and you're going to have to wait till the spring because this is a 2-show-a-year show. So there's a spring show and a fall show. I don't think there's any details as of yet on when and where the spring show is going to be. I'm assuming once this is over, we're probably
going to let you know the day after.
Yeah, we're probably going to. Well, there you go. So the day after. So keep your eyes out on the Toronto Game Expo Instagram, I'm assuming, is probably where everybody's going to want to go follow these guys. So make sure you keep an eye out. This show's going to be bumping. I can only imagine what's coming for March. Is it March? No. When was the last show? When was the spring show?
We will be doing our next show.
Well, don't say when, but when was the last one?
Yes,
in April.
The last one was in April.
Yes.
Okay.
April, yeah.
So sometime in that time frame, there's going to be another show. So keep your eyes out, guys. We've already been on now for an hour, and there was still some stuff on my list that I wanted to talk about. I think we have to quickly mention Five Nights at Freddy's. I know that it only has one movie, but it was a hit movie. It made some money. The video games are a hoot. People love the video games. People are buying like remade versions of the original game. Like there's an updated version of the original game, I guess, that you can get now. There's a mobile version, I believe, of the game now. Like people have just rediscovered Five Nights at Freddy's. So I know it's not a big, huge franchise like Resident Evil, but I wanted to mention anyway. Rob, you look like you've got something to say about that one.
No, I wasn't going to say much about that one. I mean, they did have a movie come out in the last year or two.
It was great.
I don't know that we could do this episode without at least spending a little tiny bit of time on Silent Hill.
We have to.
We have to before we're done.
We have to. I feel like Silent Hill tried to pick up the reins where Resident Evil started, right? With that third-person type horror game. But they took it in a very different direction.
Yeah.
Extremely different direction, right? Between the fact that the whole game mechanics are built on the two worlds system, the underside or whatever you want to call it, the upside down or the demon. Is there a name? Do they have a name for it in the game? I can't remember now.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but absolutely it's funny you said the upside down. That was definitely inspired by Silent Hill.
Yeah, 100%. The upside down was totally inspired by the Silent Hill game. Again, one of the early horror games that this is PS1 days.
1999, 25 years. So Resident Evil kind of blew the lid off of these types of games, and then Silent Hill was right on their heels.
Mm-hmm.
And they took it. They took it. If other games were about gore, they took it in a different direction and made it more about like a psychological kind of horror game. And atmosphere had a lot to do with that, right? Which is, I think Harleen said earlier, like it was one of the scariest games of all time. And I think that kind of suspense had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and I think the never knowing what was going to be around the corner, because when you were in that whatever that other world is, whatever the upside down is, you never knew. It was so crazy and so out there, and sometimes so grotesque. You never knew what was going on. Now this is in the real world, right? That's where you always end up when you end up back in the real world. Silent Hill is in constant fog, which is creepy in its own sense because most of the actual story happens in this foggy town.
Yep. So
that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Okay. So thank you for bringing this picture up, because that totally reminded me why I wanted to talk about Silent Hill. Is out of all of the horror game franchises, there's only one that has generated a shit ton of cosplays, and it's Silent Hill.
It's this one.
Right? Silent Hill probably has more cosplays than any other horror game franchise that I know. Not game franchises, because of course there are game franchises like, what's that anime game that all the kids were playing at one point that you see like 345,000 cosplays at Fan Expo? I forget. Genshin Impact, right?
Yes.
Right.
So yes, there's more Genshin Impact cosplayers than Silent Hill cosplayer guys. I realize that. But when you're talking about these horror games or even franchises, period, yeah, I don't know that there's more cosplayers than this one here. Yes. And there's different versions of this character too, right?
Pyramid Head, yep.
Yeah. There's so many. What are you wanting to do a Pyramid Head, Richard? You're pointing.
Are you pointing at one?
It's just such a cool cosplay. Like that thing.
It is.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like almost every con we go to, we see one.
For sure. I know. Get Zacked cosplayer on Instagram has just been saw him post this earlier this week. I think Reed's Plus has made some of part of that costume. Mm-hmm. But yeah, every con you go to, you're going to see Pyramid
the
Head.
Bloody Nurses.
Pyramid Head.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to argue that. I don't think Silent Hill is as big of a franchise as Resident Evil. I mean, it's clearly not had as many games but it's hard to deny the popularity of this franchise.
Just seem to have more iconic cosplays from Silent Hill.
I was gonna say more opportunity to do creative things, right, than just zombies and people.
Yeah, they really took a different direction on the genre, right? Where it's that, you know, post-apocalyptic style horror while you're walking into a desert town, but instead of being attacked by zombies, you end up in this demon world being attacked by all these, who knows what the hell they are.
No, yeah, all kinds of different
right? All kinds of different things, right? So yeah, it's left a creative liberty, I think, for the game designers to go with these really creative character designs that have really translated well to cosplay.
Yeah.
Really translated. This whole world has translated well. We should do a Silent Hill group.
Something for next time. Richard's like, yeah.
Yeah, we should figure something out here for next, like maybe for next Halloween or for next fall, do some sort of, yeah, if we're gonna do another horror thing. You know what?
I think I'd make a good nurse.
Yeah, oh, there you go. I agree.
Sorry, I derailed you there. What were you gonna say?
No, I agree. Listen, but we should I just feel like it seems like a lot of the new cosplays that we're doing these days are horror based. So you know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll check it out. Guys, listen, we're deep into an hour now. We do have to cut this off, but we do want to talk about Silent Hill very quickly. No, it's like I said, it's not as big as Resident Evil. I'm not going to go through all of the stats now in the wiki page, and it's too late for that now. If you've never played a Silent Hill game, go and play a Silent Hill game. Even if you got to go find an old console or an emulator or whatever it is, go play Silent Hill. Don't watch the movies. Go play the game. You won't regret it. If you're into horror, if you like to be freaked out, if you like to be scared specifically, if you like to have that feeling of your heart racing and not, Silent Hill will do that to you. It's I
have a feeling that the games would even be better than the movie.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you like being that feeling of suspense and being suspended and the jump scares, and if you like that feeling, play the games.
Yeah,
especially the first one.
That was another horror movie that I actually worked on. They filmed that one in Toronto as well.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So where did they, like that town, like the town that she walks into, where did they build that?
That was actually
was that an actual town?
Yeah, that was in the town of Dundas. They had an old street, the old part of downtown Dundas that kind of gotten all shuttered down over the years. Yeah, they just rebuilt that whole street. Every little storefront was just a little facade.
Interesting.
Cool. And just tons and tons of garbage and debris and everything painted shades of black and gray and
And how many fog machines did they need to use?
yeah, a lot.
I mean, listen, the movie was all right. The game was amazing.
I think the movie just seems to like only break the surface of what the games would bring you to.
Yeah.
It does. It really does. You never really get into the real part of the story, right? You never really get into you're right.
Yeah.
The movie only really touches. I almost feel like they wanted to maybe expand more in the second movie, but then I think there was a second movie, was there not? But that went completely out to left field. Like it was a complete other thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Either way, I mean, if you've never played the game, play the game. It's, like I said, especially the first one. The first one was,
it looks awesome. Like the images you guys were pulling up there look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those I think are from newer versions.
I think, like PS5.
Now I haven't played any of those, so I can't speak to those specifically. I'm more of an old school gamer myself.
Is that stuff available on like my younger brother has one of the VR gaming systems?
Yeah.
Are those available on that platform as well?
I don't know.
I know there was a
Um,
Resident Evil VR. I'm not sure if there's a
Yeah.
Silent Hill VR. Let me see. Silent Hill VR.
That's a good question. I would feel like it would be a good fit for that platform. They
Resident
did have
Evil one would be awesome.
Werewolves Within on VR, which was a horror VR game.
Awesome.
And then there was a couple of zombie shooter games, but they weren't
Yeah.
like that's Resident Evil wasn't a shooter. You don't go around shooting zombies, right?
Yeah.
That's not what the game is. It's a third person, right? So there's puzzles involved, and zombies will literally come at you and chew at your ankles, and you got to kick them off before you can shoot them, and stuff like that, right? Like it's not just a straight up shooter.
It does look like Silent Hill 2 remake has VR. So yeah, if you're interested in that, go check that out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some of our like iconic horror characters, it goes the other way. It was the movie first, and now they're featured in a game. So it's I guess my point is horror brings people together because now you see like different iconic characters, like say Freddy Krueger in Ninja Turtles, or Jason in Multiverses, or like there's different ones. Like Roblox will suddenly introduce for Halloween a scary character that we know from a movie. So sometimes it comes from the movie as a guest crossover into games.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Dead by Daylight is a really popular one as well, and Michael Myers is the shape in that game.
What does that mean? The shape.
I just thought of
Michael Myers is also referred to as the shape, right? You never heard that before?
No.
You never heard of Michael Myers referred to as the shape? Oh my god.
No.
Well, after this, go look it up. But he's been known as the shape, right? That's what they call him in that game.
I see.
Awesome.
But he's Michael Myers.
But he's Michael Myers, yeah.
Do you guys remember Doom?
Yes. The game or the movie?
We're not, a good thing. I'm glad Richard just lost his internet again, because I'm not sure I want to talk about that
with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, wasn't it?
Fucking movie. Yeah, The Rock was in that. Carl Urban was in it. There was, there was actually a decent cast in Doom. It just had nothing to do with the video game. Like I didn't understand.
I think it was more about the shootings, the camera style, right? It's like they had, when they strap a camera like to the person's face and you see it like moving around. It's almost, they tried to make a first person shooter movie. That was their experiment, was Doom. But
so that's as much as we're going to talk about Doom. Thanks, Richard.
We tried to avoid that, but
no, funny enough, I had it on my list, but I had a red X next to it, but what are you gonna do? Well, we kind of had to mention it. I think he worked on Doom, was the point he was going to try to make. I think he also worked on that on that movie. So
awesome.
A man of many surprises.
He is a man of many surprises. Oh, there he is again. Richard, did you work on Doom by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I thought that's why you were bringing it up. There you go.
No, it's just one of those old video games that I had played back in the day, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Total
Doom,
first-person shooter. Just nothing but a gun in front of you the whole time.
Yeah, I mean the game was great, especially for its time. The movie. Yeah. Andre is saying Rock has made 3 game movies, right? Spy Hunter, Doom, and Rampage. That is correct. And I want to say Rampage, funny enough, probably being the best of them. Even though, again, it didn't really have much to do with the video game, but sometimes they make these movies based on these franchises and they're just so out to lunch that they don't even make sense, right? It's like, why are you even calling it this? Just call it something else. Like, what are you doing? But with some of these franchises we've talked about tonight, you can't deny, Resident Evil was Resident Evil. And if you've seen Nemesis, let me tell you something. Yep. It's right in the game. Right in the game. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. There's still a bunch of people in the chat right now. So guys, thanks. I know we haven't gone to the chat much tonight. But thank you so much for the interaction and for sticking around. Before we go, I mean, we've already talked about what our next con is. I'm just realizing now, my name is still Jeff.
I noticed that.
There you go. I am now JS again. Our next
tricks.
con at the Geeks & Co. is obviously Toronto Game Expo. Megan, what do you have coming up? I think you have other stuff in between, don't you?
I will hopefully see everybody on this Saturday in Newmarket at Compass Con. It's a new show with some familiar vendors running it. So I think that that's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope that you can come out and visit me. It's very collectibles based. So that's going to be awesome. Then I will see you a week before Toronto Game Expo at HeartCon, which is more photography based. And it's going to be very interesting. It's a different concept. And then I'll see you at Toronto Game Expo, November 16th.
Now, I guess HeartCon, the whole premise behind the con is it's more for cosplayers, right? For cosplayers to be able to meet up and network with photographers, videographers, do photo shoots, that type of stuff, correct?
Yes, I think that it'll be great for everyone to be able to sort of network and connect as well. It's for a good cause as it's a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a fundraiser for at Sick Kids, correct? Like that's where the donations are going, which
is congenital heart defect.
Yeah. So Sick Kids is very near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to try to make a donation to that online, even if I can't go. But
Wonderful, thank you.
People in the chat are already saying they're going to be at HeartCon and Game Expo. Nice, Andre. We'll see you at both.
For
Richard,
Richard,
what about you? Do you have anything coming up in the next little while?
I'm not sure. I'm looking into HeartCon. I like the concept of the cosplayer, photographer, and videographer integration. I think it's interesting. I just got to confirm if my schedule will allow for it. Toronto Game Expo, of course. Other than that, I can't think of. Those are pretty much the only ones I've got sort of on the immediate horizon.
Awesome. Rob, I don't think you have anything else either. I think our next one really is November, right?
We got a couple little photo shoot events here and there. And then next one is Game Expo. I'm very excited about it, to be honest with you. I love games. Gonna do some Christmas shopping there. And it's funny talking about the indie game developers. So I have 2 teenage kids and they are big into video games, especially the indie game stuff. I went to ask them doing my research for this episode if they had any recommendations, and they said probably wouldn't know any. We're only into the indie game stuff, so it's a big scene on the indie game developers. But yeah, other than that, no, just getting ready for Game Expo and Halloween maybe in the middle, just beforehand.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween's going to be a good time. I think we have a Halloween is on a Thursday. So we're going to be live on Halloween night, guys.
Ooh.
Exactly what we're going to be doing, but I have an idea that I want to talk to you guys about.
Just going to live stream people coming to our doors and scaring the crap out of them.
I would love to live stream myself as Jason for an hour, scaring the little kids as they come up through the fog. Yeah, that'd be funny. No, that's not the idea.
And then all of your fans can bail you out.
Exactly. If you guys want to know what's going to be happening, well, make sure you stay tuned and then make sure you click the notification bell as well as that like and subscribe button. When you click the notification bell, it'll always let you know every time we go live or anytime we upload one of our new videos. Like I was saying at the top of the show, got a bunch of content coming out, guys. Megan and Jeff have been making an after show. There's a new Megan has just put out a review of the first half of the Agatha All Along series. She'll have her thoughts on the second half or the completed series also at the end. Go check it out. You might actually be surprised what she had to say. I know it's not what I was expecting. So check it out. That's live right now on our YouTube channel. I think that is going to be it for today. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us today. Harleen and Richard you guys are awesome.
Thank you very much.
That will be it.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Make sure you stay geeky, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss an